There's only one, and that's Kentucky. There's no team in recent memory that comes even close to this team for the depth it has. 9 first-round draft picks, 9 McDonald's All-Americas. It's going to be a major upset for anybody to beat Kentucky along the way. So usually there's 2 or 3 teams that you can make a good case for, but for anybody to beat Kentucky, it's going to take a major upset, and that hasn't happened in a while. That they're going for 40-0, and the last unbeaten national champion was Indiana in 1976. And these guys are good enough to go after it and do that. So it's just a case of, can anybody knock Kentucky off? And but it's highly doubtful. Well, yeah, sure. If Wisconsin plays the perfect game and they get Jackson back so that they have another guard to be able to handle things. Frank Kaminsky is such a big-time player up front. He's a 7-footer. He can go at it with Cauley Stein and with Towns, try to take them away from the basket, open things up for the other Wisconsin guys that they could drive and slice through. They're good shooters. Decker can shoot. Gessler's a pretty good shooter. But they really only play 6 guys. And again, that's where the factor is going to come in. The fatigue factor is just going to come in and wear them down. Arizona is quick enough to go with them. I don't know if they're big enough to go with them. Tarczewski gets in foul trouble really easily, and to have him trying to go against Cauley Stein and then Towns right after him, that's going to be almost impossible. But they have enough on the perimeter to go after him, but it's going to take a perfect shooting game. Villanova, they could beat them, but they're going to have the dream three-point shooting night. They're going to have to hit about 15 to 17 three-pointers, and that'll be their whole way of taking Kentucky out of what they do, maybe open it up for a little driving after that. But when you look around the rest of the teams, I don't think there's anybody on a neutral court that can stay with Kentucky. Sure, there's a couple of teams in the same state that I think people are going to love. Iowa State, they're a 3 seed, but this year at 3 seed, you may as well be a 7 or an 8 seed because everything is pushed down because of Kentucky. And but Iowa State, they've won so many games recently, so many close games where they had huge comebacks. That can only make them feel confident going into the tournament. So I think that's going to be a big advantage for Iowa State. And the other team from that state is Northern Iowa, who won the Missouri Valley Conference. Sean Tuttle's one of those guys that he's 6'11", but he can play like a guard a lot of times, and he can still go up front and do what he has to do for you. They're a really solid team that doesn't make any mistakes, so they can make a run. But I think, again, when you look at it this year, teams are going to be trying to make a run to the Final Four, and that'll be considered the great season this year because you're going to have to try to go up against Kentucky at some point. And Las Vegas doesn't kid around when they tell you things, and when they made Kentucky an even money favorite, that hasn't. I can't remember that ever happening where a team is that big a favorite in a tournament.